Hello, everybody. Time for part two of the Transformers marathon. Since I reviewed the Transformers the movie, the animated one, now we're going to move into the live action films. So here is Transformers. The first of, what are we up to now? 6 at least, soon to be 7, because Rise of the Beast will be the 7th live action one. Transformers was released in 2007. It's basically a action sci-fi hybrid movie. The story is it's a bit interesting, but I'll try to explain it as best I can. The back here doesn't really say much, but it's basically kind of the same thing. The Autobots and Decepticons are basically their home world, the Cybertron, is destroyed, and they decide to come to Earth and pretty much pick up their battle from there. Military get involved, and as does a young high schooler named Sam Witwicky, played by actor Shia LaBeouf, who ultimately gets literally gets put in the crossfire. But ultimately, it's discovered that his great grandfather has actually discovered Decepticons long ago, and there's a small artifact that he carries, a pair of glasses that supposedly lead to a powerful object called the Allspark, which is what the Decepticons are planning to use to build their race back up and eventually take over Earth. And of course, Sam gets caught in the crossfire when his new car that he acquires basically happens to be a Transformer itself. It's an Autobot named Bumblebee, who quickly became one of the most popular of the Autobot characters. And of course, he's going through the whole high school teenage dilemma, wanting to get a car so he can get himself a beautiful girl, which he does in the form of Michaela, played by Megan Fox. And so, nonetheless, what follows is a series of, incredible action scenes, phenomenal visual effects that were literally groundbreaking at the time. And, yeah, when it comes to Transformers, basically, let's start at the very beginning. Around the time in 2003, I think the original intention was to make a G.I. Joe live-action film, but then when the invasion of Iraq started in 2003, Hasbro, the company that owns Transformers, decided to essentially, they said, well, let's do Transformers instead. Steven Spielberg, who was a big fan of the cartoon and the comics growing up, and the toy and the action figures, decided to sign on as executive producer, and around that time is when Michael Bay got attached. Yeah, Michael Bay, the director who helmed movies like the first two Bad Boys films, The Rock, Armageddon, Pearl Harbor, who also has the notoriety of directing big-budget action movies with just little to no story concepts, but nonetheless, though, that's one of the things Michael Bay is probably best known for. He's best known for directing hardcore action scenes and just causing as many explosions and as much destruction as possible, and of course this movie does have plenty of it. Now, the visual effects in the film were just mind-blowing at the time, and yet honestly, even for the first Transformers movie, the effects still hold up incredibly well. Now, of course, like I said, when it comes to Michael Bay, his two weakest aspects are story and acting. Like, the acting is not some of the best I've ever seen, and I am not the biggest Shia LaBeouf fan, but I will say there are some movies that he's appeared in where, he actually does manage to hold his own pretty well. Megan Fox, I think, is the same way. Yes, she's a very beautiful woman, I'm not going to lie, but I feel like Michael Bay just didn't really, it's almost as if he didn't really care much about her acting at all. It's almost as if he's basically saying to her, you're beautiful. You don't need to be an actress. I think there's an actress deep down inside of her that, is begging to come out. And honestly, I can see her having great potential as an actress. I really do. But then again, Michael Bay is also one of those guys that, it's like two of the things he loves putting in the most of his movies are just, putting beautiful women and, of course, just putting incredible action scenes in and just blowing as much stuff up as humanly possible. But nonetheless, though, the hodgepodge seemed to work very well since Transformers debuted in 2007 and was guaranteed to be a summer blockbuster hit, which it actually was. It was a huge hit. Of course, I saw it in the theaters. It was a incredible experience for a movie, and was one of my absolute favorite films when it came out in 2007. And I thought it was the best movie I'd seen in the whole theaters that on all the theaters that whole year. Though obviously there were obviously way better films that came out in 2007 besides Transformers, but this was definitely one movie experience I actually enjoyed watching on the big screen because it's big, it's loud, it's chock full of action, chock full of incredible visuals. I mean, it pretty much has everything any action sci-fi fan would definitely. Now, of course, when it comes to science fiction films, obviously there are way better movies than Transformers, but still, it has a little bit of everything you could possibly want in a movie. Now, the acting is obviously not some of the best, but that's to be expected for a Michael Bay movie. And surprisingly, when it came out, it was not his worst reviewed film. It was actually close to being one of his best reviewed. Because up to that point, Michael Bay's best reviewed movie prior to Transformers, I think, was The Rock. And I think it still remains his best reviewed movie. Transformers on Rotten Tomatoes has a 58%, which of the 5 Michael Bay Transformers films, it's the best reviewed one of the 5. Yeah, I'm sorry I keep turning it sideways because when I'm turning it like this, I mean it's kind of I'd rather like to keep it sideways so you can actually see the. I don't know why it's like that. It's so weird. But yeah, the movie was a huge financial success when it came out in 2007. It was made on a budget of somewhere between 150 to 200 million dollars, and worldwide it grossed over 700 million. And the movie was a huge profitable hit, and ultimately received 3 Academy Award nominations for visual effects, sound, and sound editing. Failed to win any of them. Sound and sound editing both went to Bourne Ultimatum, and visual effects ended up losing to Transformers lost to Golden Compass, which I'm sorry to say was a big mistake. I saw the Golden Compass. I wasn't really all that thrilled by it, to say the least. And the other nominee against Golden Compass for best visual effects besides Transformers was Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. And both Pirates and Transformers had far better visuals than Golden Compass. My personal opinion, what they should have nominated in its place instead of Golden Compass, they should have nominated Spider-Man 3. That's my personal opinion. But again, that's for another movie subject. I'll talk about that eventually. Whenever maybe I'll do a Spider-Man marathon. But yeah, Transformers, I'm sorry to say, I think this movie should have won the Oscar. It was robbed. Although the Saturn Awards in 2008, it did win for Best Special Effects. It also did pick up a BAFTA nomination for its visuals. At the MTV Movie Awards, it was voted Best Movie of 2008. And probably the last good movie to be nominated and winning for Best Movie. And I think it also won for Best Summer Movie You Haven't Seen Yet of 2007. Which I don't know what that category has to do with anything. Best Summer Movie You Haven't Seen Yet? That is such a weird category, but it did win that award. And I'm actually glad to see that it won Best Movie. And it had been at the Saturns, it did get nominated for Best Science Fiction Film. I think it lost to Cloverfield for Best Science Fiction Movie, I think, that year. I could be wrong. But yeah, it was nominated. Like I said, it got Oscar nominated, so I'm impressed. I'm glad to see that. But yeah, as for the Blu-ray release here, I can't. Oh my! I don't even know where to begin with how incredible this Blu-ray release is of Transformers. Because obviously you can see 2-disc special edition, and of course 2 discs. Disc 1 has the movie. Disc 2 has the bonus features. The video quality on the disc, all I gotta say is it's nothing short of gorgeous. This movie looks incredible. Being released by Paramount and DreamWorks. Yeah. DreamWorks has a great reputation for putting out some incredible discs on Blu-ray, and even on 4K too. Yeah, the Transformers movies are all in 4K, but I'm sticking with Blu-ray because this Blu-ray is still impressive, to say the least. The video is presented in well, I'm trying to find the. Oh, there it is. Oh, it doesn't list the aspect ratio of the movie. It just says 1080p high definition. So, oh well. But overall, it's presented in like 239 by 1 widescreen anamorphic or 235, because it's kind of hard to say which, because the black bars, look fairly decent for what they are on the top and bottom of the screen. But honestly, Transformers is nothing short of gorgeous on Blu-ray. It looks amazing. Detail galore. So it's one of those movies that you just want to test your TV out, pretty much. I would say out of 5 stars, solid 5 out of 5. As for the audio is presented in, actually, we got a couple of flavors here. We got Dolby True HD 5.1. Of course, there's 5.1 Dolby Digital in French and 5.1 Dolby Digital in Spanish. So overall, the audio tracks are good, but the audio, obviously, of course, went with the English. And yeah, it sounds just as amazing. The movie did pick up sound and sound editing Oscar nominations, so it definitely fits right there. The audio is just amazing. The explosions, the dialogue, all come out just fine. So again, out of 5 stars, solid 5 out of 5. As for the bonus features, like I said, it definitely deserves the term special edition because there's a lot of material to be found across both discs. Disc 1 has only a handful of things. Commentary by director Michael Bay, Transformers heads-up display, which is basically a PIP track that plays during the movie, which is pretty cool. One of the things I love the most about Blu-ray are these PIP features where they actually play while you're watching the movie. It's pretty cool, actually. Really neat feature. Now this BD Live feature, which, no doubt, BD Live was a pretty cool thing when it came out, but it's been discontinued for over a decade now, so unfortunately, the BD Live features, unfortunately, don't work. But the second disc makes up for that with an incredible wealth of behind-the-scenes stuff on the film. Starting off, we get Our World, explore the world of Transformers through interviews with the cast and crew, stunt training footage, and exclusive access to on-set locations. So you're roughly looking at close to about roughly 50 minutes of behind-the-scenes stuff there on the making of the film there. Their War. Learn more about the Autobots and Decepticons with exclusive access to production design, military advisors. Basically, it's how they brought the Autobots and Decepticons to life. Bringing the Transformers to life is probably one of the best features. How they pretty much did all the CGI to essentially transform the cars into the giant Transformers as they are. The CGI stuff is incredible, how they literally brought that to life. More Than Meets the Eye, experience an in-depth featurette on the making of the Scorponok desert attack scene. Oh, the Scorponok, the desert attack, yeah. The concept boards, and there's also theatrical trailers. So while it doesn't look like there's a lot of material here, there's quite a bit here actually to weave through. Not to mention, like I said, the movie disc has the commentary and, of course, the heads-up display, or HUD, PIP track that plays during the movie. And, of course, the second disc comes with a wealth of documentaries and featurettes that go deep into how the movie was made. Mainly talking about how the visual effects were brought to life, which is pretty cool. Oh, look at that. It even has a runtime of all the bonus material. So there's roughly 2.5 hours worth of extras on the second disc. Pair that with commentary by Michael Bay, which the movie itself runs at 143 minutes, so that's roughly almost 2.5 hours worth of commentary right there, so that's about close to 5 hours. And not to mention, you got the heads-up display feature here, so that's another almost 2.5 hours of material added, so you're looking at roughly 7.5 hours worth of behind-the-scenes stuff there on the making of the movie. That's a huge hunk of material to weave through. Oh, yeah, I forgot about the cast. There's a pretty decent number of cast here. Tyrese Gibson, who is probably best known for the Fast and the Furious movies. Josh Duhamel, Anthony Anderson, Rachel Taylor, John Turturro, who's been in tons of movies in the past. John Voight, same, tons about. And it's also great to see many of the actors that voiced the Autobots and Decepticons from the original Transformers return for the movie, especially voice actor Peter Cullen returning to voice Optimus Prime, which is great to hear his voice again. And instead of Frank Welker returning to voice Megatron, this time, however, we got Hugo Weaving to voice Megatron this time. Hugo Weaving, best known as Agent Smith from The Matrix, Lord Elrond from Lord of the Rings. So yeah. Overall, this is actually a really, as for the bonus material out of 5 stars, solid 5 out of 5. Yeah, so Say what you will or whatever you think about the movie, but Transformers is quite a killer on Blu-ray. Incredible video, incredible audio, and a numerous wealth of extras that will it'll take you a latter part of almost a quarter of a day to get through. There, yeah, like I said, there's a lot of stuff in here to look at on the making of the movie. So honestly, if you can find this one at a good price, definitely pick it up. I mean, for those of you that don't care for Michael Bay, that's understandable. I mean, like I said, I liked it. When I saw Transformers in the theater for the first time, I enjoyed it so much. When I watched it again, I didn't enjoy it as much, but I honestly still find it fun and entertaining. And that's probably the best way I can describe this movie. It's fun and it's entertaining, which it deserves, and which it literally is. I mean, Michael Bay isn't the kind of director that's going to do like artsy stuff, but you know, he's known for one thing. He's known for a couple of things: action. He knows how to direct a great action scene, and he knows how to blow stuff up, which a lot of it happens in this movie. When I was mentioning the awards, I forgot to mention that Jon Voight did pick up a Razzie nomination for Worst Supporting Actor, so I forgot about that. And honestly, he wasn't that bad in the movie. No, he wasn't. But I will say the Blu-ray is phenomenal. I think out of the Oscar nominations that it received, I think it should have won for Best Visual Effects, my personal opinion, because the film's visuals and Transformers were just mind-bending at the time. They really were. So, bottom line, I would definitely give this movie a try. Though it's not going to be anywhere near as good as the... many people will still say the animated film is still superior, but the live-action one, give it a try. You might actually enjoy it. So, this concludes the presentation and part 2 of Transformers. And as I've said, I will continue to review all the other ones in the days to come, and hopefully soon before the new one comes out. So, hope you enjoy the video, and hit like and subscribe to my channel if you like this content. So, until then, take care and be safe.